Hey there, I'm Dave, and from 1995 to 2021-ish, I worked in the film industry, primarily as a designer and builder of visual effects on glamorous projects like Star Wars or Avatar. For the last 4 years-ish, I've worked out of my own studio, Cinodrome, doing glamorous things like building a model train to deliver drinks, or restoring the beautiful old camp that's above us next to a beautiful lake in northern Maine. This week's design and build will take place in a mosquito-infested, filthy crawl space, replacing a beam. Perhaps not so glamorous, but figuring out how to swap out this current beam with another beam while not tipping this place over should be interesting. It'll be great. So this is the camp in question. And for the last 2.5 years, really, I've been bit by bit, piece by piece, rebuilding the post and beam foundation. And the front side, the south side, is complete and flat as a pancake. This week's beam replacement project is on the north side of things, down there, where it's not like a pancake in any way. Portion of some of the work on the first 15 feet or so of this beam can be accessed from this side of things, which is a plus. Step one, jack up all of these so that we can remove this beam. To know how high to take them, we need the laser level, which means that with all that gathering of things, I forgot the first tool we're gonna need. Slight change in strategy this morning. I have things in place to start lifting these, but a considerable portion of this gig involves creating a concrete footing and post. And before I have everything floating, I'd like to get that underway. And there's a big piece of ledge that dives underground about there. So if I'm lucky, I will hit that ledge. If I'm not lucky, this hole will need to go down 6 feet because 6 feet is frost line up here. Of interest, one of the original cedar posts for this place happens to be in the exact spot that I'm making the new one. Yes, I hit ledge, but I hit the side of a ledge wall that rides all the way down to the bottom of the hole. If I pour a big slug of concrete in there, I have a hard time imagining it going anywhere. Excuse me, Eagle. Here is parts camp. This camp's original handrail that I found built into a wall, installed it. Next week I'll give a full update on goings-on in the command tent and the Cinodrome company store. For now, I will update my supreme appreciation from members to this channel and the kids hanging out up in the box seats. A Friday morning update. I had imagined this being a 1-week project. It's gonna be a 2-week thing, at least, because the engineering mysteries of this entire structure slowly reveal themselves, and this is a weird one. The wall studs are not sitting on a bottom plate. When I lift what are essentially floor joists, they're moving up the floor. They have nothing to do with holding up the entire camp. The camp's being held up on 2x4s that are sitting on the foundation beam. So the order of operations has become more tricky. I need to lift these 2x4s that are carrying a ton of weight. I'm going to try to bolt them to these beams and see if I can't just levitate them long enough to replace this beam. There's a lot of weight on them. I'm pessimistic. We'll see how it goes. No, this is not the way to do it. In fact, down here, this is so problematic that the wall stud isn't even making it down to the beam anymore because it rotted and has fallen apart. There's no wonder this side of the camp is slumping. Time out. I need a pointer. At the top of this little situation, these ceiling joists are not sitting on a top plate. They're kind of sitting on this little 1x6. I am really glad that all that's happened here is that this part of the camp sagged by 4 or 5 inches. It could be a lot worse. We're back, and I know this is a lot of talking for me, but it gets worse. This chimney, all the weight of that chimney is kind of cantilevered through this member, which is attached to these 2x4s. These two 2x4s are the ones that are completely rotted out. So the only thing holding up this chimney are the exterior shiplap boards that are nailed to these 2x4s, and as a unit are providing enough shear strength to hold all this up. I know it's been like this for a generation, but all of a sudden I'm in a hurry to get the weight off of this wall. So with, if not all, hopefully a lot of the weight removed from these wall studs, I'm gonna go back, lift up the floor joists again, and see if those 2x4s travel with this time around. Yeah, I tried really hard to convince myself that I could do everything I need to do while leaving this 20-foot, I measured it, chimney in place. But after thinking about it for about 3 minutes, here I am, tearing it out. I'm right back where I started. I have 3 beams in place with 7 points that I am jacking up with my 20-ton bottle jack and then bracing things on a series of posts. This beam is now floating, and importantly, the wall stud is floating as well. Hello, it is Saturday, the 9th of August, which means we've entered the third week of this one-week project. I've been working straight ahead for 4 or 5 days and not filming, so it is time for a rapid-fire status update. This entire area where we started this story, which was a rabbit warren of makeshift supports, is now entirely supported by a new beam resting on 3 points, and I've cleaned out the entire area. Make note of that beam and this piece of ledge. They enter the story in a moment. I landed all of the floor beams onto the new foundation beam. I lifted individual beams and shimmed them to get those evened out. In a couple cases, I scabbed 2x onto the beams if they were rotten or otherwise compromised. With the interior jacks, I floated all of the wall studs, trimmed them, and installed an actual base plate. And the following consumed 2 long, hard, filthy days of work. I didn't try filming it. You are not sorry. This whole area was 4-5 inches too high. So how to get this 6-foot area to drop? I crawled into this wee little area with a sawzall and hacked away at the main beam above that ledge, shaved off a couple posts, and then in a bit of a round robin went around and lowered everything 1 inch at a time. I'm still about 3/4 of an inch high. I'm happy with that. And now we enter the final act, the main event. The point where I'm standing is 6 inches higher than it was when I first took over this place and quantified things. The floor is now home, perfectly level and gloriously solid. The ceiling and the ceiling joists still have about 3 inches to go. You can see the target by looking down the line of these 4x4 supports. You can also see it in the siding when you look down the side of the camp. Yeah, here we go. In conclusion, the completion of any design and build feels fabulous. This one, even more fabulous-er. Owning and working on restoring an old structure brings with it its own special kind of dread. An aside, but we've been getting a raft of terrific and historic gifts from family members this summer for this place. And with old structures, no matter how well you think you've gotten to know them, there's always a chance you're gonna find a new batch of carpenter ants or raccoons living behind the dishwasher. And yeah, this place may still hold some mysteries for me, but the north wall is buttoned up. Feels so good I may continue with core infrastructure and pour some concrete this week. Not for the fireplace, but getting ready.